welcome to the MOOC How to Succeed in the English B1 level exam. Today's video class is about key features of a reading comprehension activity. What I'm going to be talking about is, first of all, explain a little bit about the meaningful reading process, and then we'll move on to a typical exam situation and how to face a reading comprehension activity. First, we'll work on the text of the activity, and then on the questions. Finally, I'll give you what I hope are some useful references. Okay, what do experts say about the meaningful reading process? Well, there are two trains of thought. One of them says that this is mainly a bottom-up process, from specific to general. That language is made up of words, chunks of words, that is, morphemes, prefixes, suffixes, and structures of words that have to be decoded or deciphered. Therefore, they consider that reading is about linear and hierarchical interpretation. And therefore, they recommend extensive reading, saying or arguing that skills need to be practiced enough to be mastered. Okay. On the other hand, there are experts who consider that reading is, above all, a top-down process. That means from general to specific. That language is integrated, is not to be fragmented, and that meaning is contextual, that a word only means what all the surrounding context means. So therefore, the reading session must be turned, above all, into a purposeful experience. Judging from these two trains of thought, we might deduce or conclude that we have to try and integrate both perspectives and consider a process that is perceptual, where we organize and store all the incoming information that we're reading. Then another module that is mental, and it's about reflection, formulating and confirming or dismissing predictions based on our own experience and also on the incoming text that we are accessing. And finally, we must reach a synthesis and refocus what we have done. So the process may be iteratively undertaken, that is, reread until completion, until we are satisfied. We might consider these aspects before, while, or after reading. What is the text likely to be about? Does it appear to be above my level or at my level? Because it is very recommendable not to access text, either audio or in writing, that is too difficult or too easy. It is even better to read too easy a text than too difficult a text. Why? Because it will be frustrating and it will be too hard to obtain any benefit. So as we go along, then we realize which fragments are clear or unclear, and we'll try to decode those fragments that are unclear by using linguistic knowledge, textual knowledge, and our real-world experience. Finally, we can ask ourselves, well, what was the purpose of the composition? Was it what I thought it was going to be? These metacognitive questions are fundamental to undertake successful reading activity and also to improve our own reading skills. Here are some tips to use. We can ask ourselves, is what I read coherent? Can I make a list of the data provided and put them in a chronological order, for example? We can also look for confirmation elsewhere on internet or social media, books, etc. And very important, avoid frustration, because understanding 80%, 40%, even 10% of a text is not the same as not understanding anything. And this is a process that will inevitably improve as we read more and more text. And we do it using our metacognitive skills and our real-world knowledge, linguistic knowledge, etc. English, Spanish, German, in general, Indo-European languages are related. So sometimes we can use our knowledge of our own language in order to try and figure out what the English word means. Beware of grammatical differences and occasional false friends, though. There are words that might sound the same, like carpet in English and carpeta in Spanish or whatever, and they mean completely different things. So be also ready to question any assumption. Like, for example, primary meanings of words in a given text. We all know what a house is in English, but the House of Commons or the House of Parliament is a completely different thing. So we have to be ready to formulate predictions, use as much knowledge as varied types of knowledge as possible, but be also ready to dismiss predictions that are not that are proven not to be right. Here is a short example of a text that has appeared in a previous B1 exam. Imagine a world-famous football league that is so poorly managed that it has to sell its best players to foreign leagues in order to survive. Okay, there are some words that are probably easy for a B1 student, like imagine, football, and best. Yeah? But probably using our own language, we can figure out the meanings of world famous, using our knowledge of the word world and the word famous. World famous is something that is famous at an international level. League, poorly. We might not know the adverb poorly, but we will probably know the adjective poor and deduce what poorly is. Done in a poor manner. Managed, we might not know the verb, but we are probably familiar with the word management, which is used in many other languages. Players, from play, leagues, or survive, survive. Yeah? Here we have a prefix that might help us there. So if we work on the text that way, then we can figure out what the whole sentence means. Also using our knowledge of football and the football business. So imagine a world-famous football league that is so poorly managed that it has to sell its best players to foreign leagues in order to survive. Even if we don't know at all what the words sell or foreign mean, then we can imagine that is all the leagues doing something with the players to other leagues. We know what happens to players. They're sold, they are taken to exchanged for money or for other players all the time. And here we have other examples. Brazil's football is in deep financial trouble. Well, we might not know the adjective financial, but we know perhaps the word finance because it's similar to our own, to the equivalent in our own language. And because we know that these sentences belong to the previous text, then we might figure out financial, Brazil football, selling players. Well, this must be something negative about Brazil's football finances. Skilled athletes are one of Brazil's leading exports. Same thing, we might know the meaning of expert because we use our language, or leading, leader, to lead. There are other similar words with the same root that can be used, etc. So when is the activity over? When further readings or focuses confirm the previous interpretation and there is no further informative gain. The more we read, we really are satisfied or acceptably satisfied with what we've read, and the more we read doesn't change anything, so we might conclude that the activity is over. And then we move on to the exam. Some tips. Well, most questions require intensive reading. Do not rush to answer the questions, because very frequently there are several questions that are likely to, or they're not completely wrong. And very often we are asked to select the best of the 4 options. So highlight the fragments of the text where the answer may be found. Apply your knowledge, as I said before, of the text, the context, your real-world knowledge comprehensively in an integrated manner, and do not overrate any prediction. Be ready to dismiss predictions. Do not make a decision until you have read all 4 options, and be aware of the fact that you might be asked to provide the opposite, or the question might be formulated in the negative, modality. Let's see an example. Above all, in the director's box sits the man who has made his goal to save the team. Okay, which of the answers below mean the opposite of to save? Help somebody from drowning, pay, help somebody win, or help somebody lose? Okay, pay could be help somebody from drowning. Well, to save certainly means that, but not in the context of football, of the football business. Okay, so, save, yeah, help somebody win. Option number C. Well, yes, but read the question again. Which of the answers below mean the opposite of to save? So we are asked to provide the opposite. Help somebody lose. Okay, so here you have a few references of texts that might be useful, because they talk about how to gain in reading fluency, and also there at the beginning you have the Council of Europe's Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, because that will help you realize where your reading level is. It's very important to be in charge of your own learning process. Thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye for now. Good luck.